What's going on, everyone? So, per Brian Windhorst, momentum is shifting towards D'Angelo Russell opting into his contract with the Lakers. To be honest with you, I don't have a great feel for what this is going to be. I thought maybe a month or so ago D'Angelo would opt out. Now I think there's a chance, a stronger chance, he will opt in because the market isn't looking so great right now. We can talk about that later, but I'm now kind of leaning in that direction. So, again, this is just Brian Windhorst's personal opinion. I, too, believe that D'Lo's going to opt in. Again, I don't know this for a fact. Just, again, my opinion. Like Windhorst, I just look at the market. I look at how things are shaping up. That's why I keep saying I think that D'Lo's going to opt in. Brian Windhorst is probably looking at it the same way. The teams that could potentially sign D'Lo, they all are targeting other pieces. D'Lo's at the bottom of the totem pole in that regard. Last thing D'Lo wants is take a risk that maybe somebody will give him a contract and he ends up missing out on $18.5 million. So I think he'll take the safe money. But real quick, before we get into it more, Dejounte Murray was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. Not very happy about that. This is the guy that I really wanted the Lakers to get. Now, I did always say that I thought Dejounte Murray was a long shot, just that because there's competition. But he went for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, and 2 first-round picks. The Lakers couldn't outdo. I understand that the Lakers are waiting for D'Angelo Russell to make his decision. I get that. But Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., and 2 first-round picks, the Lakers couldn't have beaten that. I mean, look, Dyson Daniels, he's a very solid upside potential guy. Defensively looks good, 3-and-D type guy. Sure. But the Lakers could have beaten that. And it's frustrating that once again, we're kind of sitting on our thumbs and other guys that we could really use and need are now being moved off the table. But I think that this just signals a specific guy coming to Lakers that I'll touch on here in a moment. But D'Angelo Russell, right? Everything kind of is hinging on D'Lo right now. I don't believe D'Lo will be on the Lakers past this offseason. I think either he opts out and he leaves, or he opts back in and the Lakers end up trading him. Now, could they do something to where, especially now that Dejounte Murray is off the table, maybe the best course of action is to give D'Lo an inflated contract, right? And then use that to maybe trade for somebody later on, right around the trade deadline or in December when D'Lo's money's off the books. But I'd like to get a roster set and ready to go, right? I'd like to be in a position to where it's okay, now this is our roster, let's go. Maybe you're making some minor moves at the trade deadline or something, but we basically have our roster intact. That would be ideal. But looking at the market, right? The only teams that have been heavily linked to D'Lo are the Orlando Magic, who they want several other guys. Right? D'Lo is kind of at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to guys that they're interested in. And then you look at the Spurs probably don't want D'Lo, especially long term. I could see them kind of going a vet for a year, and they just drafted that Spanish prodigy in Juan Nunez, right? He can't play this year, but he's probably going to start coming over for them the following year. So they probably just kind of get through this season, maybe with Jones, and maybe they bring in, a vet guy for, a year or whatever. As D'Lo's, at that point, D'Lo might as well just opt in, right? He might as well just take the $18.5 million, because Spurs are probably not going to pay him more than that. Could a team like San Antonio do the JJ Redick rule, where you basically give him a placeholder? So it's a 1 year, hey, D'Lo, we'll give you $25 million this year just to play for us, but that we're either going to trade you if something comes along, or we're going to just let you go next year. Sure. And he's I basically get $18.5 million next year from the Lakers, or I get $25 million from the Spurs for a year, right? That could always be a possibility. Another example, it's called the JJ Redick rule because they did it for JJ Redick several years ago, but you've seen teams like Bruce Brown has done it for, or the Indiana Pacers did it for Bruce Brown as again, a placeholder that they were able to use to go get Pascal Siakam, something like that. But now that Dejounte Murray's off the table, now that D'Lo, let's assume, opts in, because I do think that that's the best course of action, especially since tomorrow that's going to be the case. The Lakers, I think, are probably looking at Trae Young, right? Because Dejounte Murray's off the table, and Dejounte was kind of like the one point guard that come in and take and be an upgrade, right? Elevate the roster. There's also potential now. The Lakers are kind of at like basically don't have a point guard, right? Because if you trade D'Lo, who's your point? Gabe Vincent, right? Like Gabe, you really want Gabe Vincent as your starting point guard? I mean, I guess it depends on who the rest of the team is, but you know, like, and then even then, who's your backup? Gonna be Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny James, like. You're going to run Reeves more at the point guard, which I don't think is a good idea. You're going to play LeBron more at the point guard. I thought the whole point was to have him play more off ball, right? So, I don't know. I've said it for months now. I think Trae is going to be the guy that's going to Lakers. The more that I think about it, the more that I analyze it, the more I just go, yeah, it's probably him. Again, I could be wrong, right? I could be completely wrong. Maybe they don't go that direction. Maybe they end up keeping D'Lo. There's a million things that could happen, right? But I just think if you're going to trade D'Lo, you got to get a point guard. So who's that point guard that you're getting, right? Like, and Dejounte Murray was the hope, but now Dejounte Murray's off the table. So it's like, now what? I just think that, D'Lo opts in. You're basically taking D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, and you're going and getting Trae Young, and you're throwing in your picks and you're off to the races type thing. That's just, I could be wrong. But after losing out on Dejounte Murray, and Atlanta is still supposed to be trading Trae supposedly wants out because he doesn't want to go through a rebuild, and Atlanta is clearly trying to rebuild. I just think that there's not going to be the competition for Trae. I just think no one's going to be lining up to sell the farm to go get Trae. And I think if D'Lo opts in, the Lakers will be able to go get Trae Young and put themselves in a position to where it's like, okay, now you got Trae, LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Anthony Davis. You're probably running Jared Vanderbilt in that lineup because you got more than enough offense. Defense would be a concern, right? But you gotta give yourself the best chance. You see, look at all these other teams, and they're all getting better. Right? The Pelicans just got better. And they didn't even have to give up Brandon Ingram, which means they could either keep Brandon Ingram and run it and see how it looks, or they could unload Brandon Ingram and go get other pieces, go get some upgrades, right? Maybe get some bench depth and run it with like Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, they go Murphy or Herb, and then Zion. They got to get a center, but maybe that's what they're turning Brandon Ingram into. It's just, yeah, I just, the more that I think about it, I've said from the beginning, I think it's going to be Trae because there's not going to be the competition. And I think D'Lo opts in. I think they work something out because I don't think he's going to get a bigger deal on the market. I mean, you can maybe he looks to go get like a 4-year, $60 million or something like that, right? Maybe he goes and looks to get some big contracts, some big sizable contracts, sure. But I don't think anybody's going to, I don't think they're going to give him a bigger contract than the $18.5 million. So I just think if you do that now, you opt in to take the $18.6 million, you'll wait and see what's out there. You get traded, maybe you get traded to Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta keeps you. Maybe you work out well. And Atlanta's like, hey, well, we could use the point guard for a little while, right? Maybe they give you a new deal. Right? Or maybe they send you somewhere, or maybe, spots open up next year and you make more sense for another team. So I just think push is going to come to shove, and I think that D'Lo will opt in tomorrow. And hopefully we can pull something off because we need to get a trade. We do. We gotta pull a rabbit out of a hat one way or another. It's just so frustrating that Lakers lost Dejounte Murray and we're waiting around for D'Angelo Russell, and it's like, but I'm going to stay positive. Got a lot coming forward, a lot coming out. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, what do you think? D'Lo opts in? Do you think he opts out? Do you think if he opts in, we trade him? If so, who do you want to trade him for? Do you think it's Trae Young? What do you think of Dejounte Murray going to the Pelicans? Are you gutted like I am? Because, man, that one was tough. But anyway, how you feel, whatever thoughts are, let me know. Love to hear it down in the comments section below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.